Welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I'm your host, Carolyn Orff, and you guys, it is the day before St. Patrick's Day. So, I got the bow, the decorations, the ears, the whole 9 yards to celebrate this afternoon with all of you. So, you guys, if there was a competition going on for best shows this month, I think we absolutely would be winning it. We are killing it with some fantastic guests and some fantastic segments for all of you, and today is no different. We are waiting for a couple of guests to join us. They are both overseas, so we're hoping that they're able to join us. But to start us off, Matt Walgren is here from the education team, and we're going to do a little team talk and just talk about some of those things that are going on in the news. Matt, welcome.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, and you're all dressed for travel. Tell us where you are headed.
So I'm headed to join Virginia Ann in Budapest at the River Cruise Expo.
Yes, and she is hoping to join us. They were at some sort of horse something or other, and they were waiting for buses to come get them. So we're hoping she's going to join us by the end of the show to share her thoughts. But, share with us real quick, what are some of the things that you've had to do to prepare for this trip?
Well, there's been a lot, and it's been a lot last minute because I've been busy. So I'm actually stopping over. I'm taking Turkish Airlines. I decided on the way over, I'm gonna fly their business class for the first time, see what it's all about. Plus, I just need to relax a little bit because it's been really busy. And that reminded me that I needed to get a Turkish visa because I'm doing a one-day layover there on the return. So I applied for my visa, which is a very simple process. You do it online now. If you've traveled in the past, you know that you can show up and they'll give it to you too, but it's super easy to do it online. So why wait in those lines when you arrive at the airport? It's all basically Turkey, even though I'm there just for that one day layover. I have to fill out some forms and show them my vaccination record and that sort of thing. Hungary just got rid of a lot of their policies. You don't need to get the test anymore. Although I had already, before when I booked it, it had to be a PCR test. So I decided I was going to try out at DFW, Dallas, their rapid PCR test thing. So I'm still going to do it just for knowledge purposes to see how it all turns out if my clients need to use it in the future for a different location. So there's that. And then just a whole lot of packing.
Are you finding that the airports for these tests are the best places to go right now? I know it's really hard in Colorado to not only get a test like we used to get a test for travel, but a PCR test is hard to find. It seems like the airports are really the go-to.
Yeah, it's the PCR test. It's the catch-22. You go somewhere and they say, okay, yeah, we can get you your results back to you in 72 hours. And then the country says, we need your results within 72 hours. But you need to show them before you board the plane. And you normally, if you're going to Europe, that's 48 hours. So It doesn't really work. So, those are great options because for a lot of people, their insurance covers it, but it's just a little too risky. So that's why I decided to do the airport one. It really does seem like the only option around where you can get it done in a rapid way. Now, one thing I do for a little bit of peace of mind is the post office. You go to their site and they're sending everybody free antigen tests, right? And you can do at home. It's not the monitored ones. You just do it yourself. So last night I went ahead and took one of those just because I don't want to show up at the airport and then it shows up positive. Yeah. So I know they're two different kinds of tests, but I'm hoping that since I tested negative on the antigen, that I'll test negative on the PCR test today at the airport.
So can you share with us just a little bit about what the plan is for the ASTA Global River Cruise Conference? This is the first time it's ever been done. It is kind of the brainchild of Bob Dublin, and he's no longer with us, and so people have gathered, and there's some questions around safety and everything like that. I heard some from friends yesterday that are in Budapest already. They said they feel very confident, very safe. What is the plan once you get there as far as the experiencing river cruises and all they have to offer?
Well, the great thing is there isn't anything like it. And so this is the first time that agents are going to be able to do inspections on a bunch of different river cruise ships and river cruise lines. Before, the only way was really to sail on it yourself. And as you know, these are rather expensive experiences to fork up your own money. So one thing that I really like about this conference is they've aligned your appointments and your inspections with the river cruise are aligned with meals. So you schedule lunch with UniWorld, you can have dinner with AMA Waterways on the ship. And so you have a couple days of that. So you get to try their food, you get to check out the ship, and then of course, get to know the reps and ask them questions and stuff. So I think that's a perfect way of doing it because river cruises are known for having really good food. So it's important for a lot of travelers.
Well, and wine. We don't want to forget that. And
And the
there is
wine too.
some kind of conference classroom work as well, correct? Where you're just kind of sitting and listening and
Yep, there's morning sessions with speakers and listening on the latest and greatest. I'm sure there's going to be some candid conversations about how things have changed since the pandemic, what's coming, and that sort of thing. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm sure Virginia Ann or I will report back what we learned when we return.
that's going to be amazing. Well, I'm hoping she's able to come to us later on in the show. Let's switch gears a little bit and just talk about, I don't know if you've been watching the news lately, but a lot of countries are starting to open up as far as releasing some of the requirements regarding COVID. It's really kind of crazy. We've seen France and the UK really drop some of those requirements as far as, for those that are vaccinated. And what's interesting about this, I don't know if you read this, but their cases seem to be going up, yet their requirements are coming down.
Yeah, well, I think it really is moving into that, what they're calling an endemic stage of it. People are getting sick, but they're not dying at the numbers we were seeing before. So they're ready to bring back travel with precautions. They want people to be vaccinated. But this really took a big, huge blow to these different economies in the tourism industry. People have been suffering for what, a couple years now? Almost two, it's basically 2 years today, I think, right? When we all started locking down. And they're ready to get that economy jump started again and welcome back tourists so that people can get back to work and that they can get their livelihoods back.
Yeah. Let's talk. Well, I even saw, which I thought was crazy, Heathrow, no longer masks are mandatory. They're still encouraged, but they're not mandatory. Does the mask bother you?
For long haul flights, yeah. I mean, I'm tired of the mask. I get it. I'm not an anti-mask or anything. I wear the mask. Cold days, it's great. But in warm locations, it sucks.
Yeah.
And wearing it on a plane for 8 hours when you're traveling to Europe and that band starts folding your ear down and it gets sore, it's just, I'm tired. I am tired of wearing the mask at this
Yeah.
point.
Can I tell you what I love about the mask though? So when you get on those flights and your head goes back because you're so exhausted, and then your mouth drops open, and then the mask covers all of that ugliness.
Yes.
And so it just looks like you're hanging back. And so to me, it's a lifesaver on those long flights. I don't usually need it on the short ones because I don't fall asleep, but on the long ones, and it's very funny to me that it saves me from that ugliness.
Well, and that's kind of an accident for you, but for me, that's one thing I've loved, but I'm actually doing it on purpose. I love making faces at people under that mask, and they don't know I'm doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, Matt, I want you to stay on because VA has joined us. So
All right.
let's go to Virginia Ambushami, part of the education team here at KHM Travel Group, live from the ASTA River Cruise Expo in Budapest. VA, how are you? Oh, can we get a camera? Even if we just have sound, I'll go with that.
I sent her a request for her mic and her camera, so she might still just be getting set up.
Perfect. All right. Well, then I hear her microphone. There she is.
All right. Can you see us? We can't, I'm on my phone, so I'm having trouble knowing what buttons to press. Oh, and there's a party going on.
Yay! Hi, my friends. I miss you all.
Wow.
And they're singing. This is what we're missing out, Matt. See, you're going to be there tomorrow.
Get over there.
Anita and Andrea and Krista.
Yay, you guys tell us how is everything? How is the expo so far? Matt's on with us. He's getting ready to go on the plane. What have you learned and experienced so far? And silence. Technology, what can you do?
Well, I know it's the first day, so I think this is just the welcome party. I think the Marriott or one of the hotels we're hosting, so I'm guessing that's where she's at.
Yes, well, and I think they might be having a really good time. What do you think?
Sounds like it. Can I go?
Okay,
Can I go now?
we were frozen.
There you go. What have you guys experienced so far?
Well, we just came from a horse farm where we saw a horse show and tried all kinds of Hungarian dishes at dinner. We also tried, I think we're gone. I don't know if you, Chris, okay.
It's gonna be
Okay.
a sequel.
There a drink that they gave us that, let me just say, it takes your breath away. Okay, we barely managed to sip and we had to stop, but it was a lot of fun. That's why we were late coming on. Our bus was late coming back, but we also had lunch today on the Avalon Envision. Beautiful, beautiful ship. The food was fantastic. Tomorrow we will have lunch on the ship and dinner on the ship and a general session and educational sessions.
Wonderful.
So yeah, full day.
You have been there for a couple days now, walking around the city, enjoying it. How safe do you feel?
Very safe.
Very, very
Very
safe.
clean, very safe.
Yeah. Very, you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very safe.
We have been all over the city. We have been on the subway. We've been on trams, on buses, and
Nothing. But tell them about the protest. I mean, how it was
yeah.
amazing.
Yesterday was Independence Day, Hungarian Independence Day, and there were, I'm gonna give you quotes, a gathering is what they called it. 100,000 people gathering. Okay. These people were so well behaved.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just comparing it to 4th of July. Okay.
Right.
And very proud. Just, they rolled up their flags at the end and were walking back to their buses. It was amazing to see. Yeah, very courteous. We did not feel unsafe at any point in time.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And airports, everything went smoothly, the protocols.
Everything
Perfect.
went fine.
I used projection expedition.
Project
Expedition.
Expedition.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
For which part, Anita? Project Expedition.
Yeah, just to get from the
The
airport,
transit.
I had prearranged it, and they were there within 2 minutes. I called them when my bags came on board, and he was out there immediately. It was an amazing. It was
Yeah.
really, really cool.
I used them also. Andrea and Trista used a taxi. It was super simple,
Very easy.
very inexpensive. I mean, it worked really well.
Awesome. And the food, my gosh. Well, every picture you've posted has some sort of yummy beverage, which
It's a lot.
in all honesty, looks like either wine or some sort of coffee. I have yet to see a glass of water in any picture.
Well, we had that too.
Yeah, we did. That was a side dish. That was extra. You had to pay for that. So that was extra.
Well, it sounds like this has just been an amazing start to what is sure to be and what we hope to be an ASTA tradition. Anita, how much influence do you have to get this to happen again?
Well,
We have news.
we have news. 2023. It's going to be right back here.
Yeah,
So it's going to be the second annual.
it was announced today.
Yes.
Wow.
To us. Maybe not to you guys, but to us, it was announced.
Well, and now it's announced to the world. That makes me so happy because, I told you guys before I left, it wasn't that FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. It was, I know I'm missing out.
Yeah. Well, you are
out.
missing out. We have to leave right now because we're going over to the Ritz-Carlton.
Or a Marriott cocktail party. I'm sure they'll have water.
Love you all. Thank you for taking the time. Please be safe and keep posting pictures, and we'll chat with you all when you get back.
See you, Matt.
Come on,
Bye.
Matt.
See you soon.
Bye.
You guys, if you're not part of ASTA, be sure to join, not just because you have access to amazing events like this, but because they are the body that represents each and every one of us in this industry. They do amazing work, and we want to make sure that we support them. We are just waiting for our next guest to come over. Let's see if she's here. Oh, Matt, go ahead.
I have a couple things I want to mention. They talked about Project Expedition. They have the best service of any excursion aggregator I've worked with. They're very responsive. They work with your clients. If you need changes, it's very easy to work with them or even just email them. So I do highly recommend them. And since if you have clients going to Budapest, you have to send them to the Central Market Hall. It's this huge indoor market with various vendors, all kinds of cured meats, olives, pate, the escargot, all these different things. It's really cool. Baked goods. It's just a really fun experience.
Virginia posted pictures the last couple days of this marketplace. The vegetables, the peppers, right, must have been this big. It was really incredible. It just was amazing to me.
And you have to get the paprika. So I'm almost out from the last time I went to Budapest. So they have all different kinds of paprika there. That's like one of their most important spices. And it's really good. It's very different than any other paprika you'd get anywhere else.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. So let me tell you, we're changing things up, you guys, because this is what we do on the show. We are going to switch gears and do our cocktail challenge because here is an interesting fact for you. We have a very special guest coming to us live from Dublin, but did you know their clocks don't change? So our clocks changed, theirs didn't. So there's a little bit of a communication issue on what time the show was. So I just got a message, which makes total sense. This is something we do. It's not something everyone does. So let's have a cocktail while we're waiting for Laura to join us. Matt, you've got yours ready to go. We're going to welcome to the screen Joanne. Look at Joanne, all prepped and professional in the KHM studio, live from Brunswick. All right, Joanne. So we have to share. Kevin Kelly was supposed to come on. Right. Both Bill and Kevin last year did this. I was the clear winner. I invited Kevin this year. And yesterday I got a note and he ran scared. He was like, I just can't compete. That's not the truth. He had to go to a basketball game. Then he said, Bill, can you fill in for me? Bill ran scared. He actually had a meeting as well. So we called in the big guns, Joanne Chipatino from groups and Matt from education to fill the spots. So Joanne, what do you have for us today?
Okay, well, I'm glad you went back and said that Kevin really did have a true reason for not being here. Wait a minute.
Did she just say Bill ran scared?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So, of course, Bill spilled the beans.
Fancy glasses.
That's an antique.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Wow.
The only thing in the room older than me.
In my pocket.
Joanne pulled up all the stops.
So Kevin asked me to stand in for him, which I very capably do. I do have to say that this bottle here, which is called Fratello, I'll give you $10 if you can tell me what that means in English.
That's Mike Fratello. He used to coach the Cleveland Cavaliers.
No,
Brothers?
it's brother. But this is a stand-in for Frangelica. Everyone's familiar with that. So Fratello is also a hazelnut liqueur. When paired with Bailey's, the original, is called the Nutty Irishman. So I have to find my camera here. So the Nutty Irishman here.
Well,
So-
Kevin's really the nutty Irish. I'm the nutty.
Irishman. So anyway, I have yet another antique that I'm going to add some ice here. I've never done this before.
Get a box.
Okay, hold on. If I turn it over, it might spill.
Shaking the upstairs.
So what's in there besides the
Lots of good stuff. That's right. We got that. Ooh.
No, I didn't want to just one. I had to make enough for my friends.
yeah,
She has what's in it besides the liqueur.
That's it, just the and ice.
just
Like-
oh really?
Frangelico and Bailey's and ice.
Okay.
How easy is that?
Now, hold on, it gets even better.
This is fancy.
It is fancy.
My gosh. Let's all go to her house to drink.
You like bourbon?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Bourbon.
Come to my house. Hold on.
All right, you want me to pour the rest of these while you have the
How are you handling? Why don't you do the whipped cream?
Oh my goodness. Oh, this is a game, Joanne. Wow.
Wait, does this go on first?
It goes on top of the liquor.
It does? Nothing else? Oh, something else goes on there? Oh, boy. Okay. Did you shake it well?
Yes, I had witnesses.
All right.
Hold on. Here, when you're done with the ice, do that.
right.
Because I need to put the nuts
Wow.
Look at this.
chopped by hand.
She was determined to beat you this year.
Seriously.
And my leprechaun dust, also known as sprinkles.
We're going to need a longer straw for this.
No, well, you could just drink right out of that. Right? And your little straw so you don't get the whipped cream mustache.
Come on. Who's voting on this? This is a sure winner right here.
This is good.
It's, this is amazing.
This looks delish.
And Robbie comes from behind. Wow. The whole off is in there, Kathy. Wow, yum.
Ooh.
Get in here. Get in here.
What kind of nuts are these? Straight
Uh,
nuts?
no, these are just
Oh,
plain unsalted
Zach,
peanuts.
get in here.
I was gonna get
Hi,
Maggie.
Asian support, Zach, the whole team.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day. All right, give it a try. Tell us what you think.
No, we have to give it the toast first. Schlante.
Monday. There we go.
Schlante, whatever.
All right, very good.
These are good.
All right, Matt, you're up next.
All right, let me get my camera situated. Ignore the earthquake. So this drink is called the Carolyn asked me to make a drink last minute. What can you find in the house? No. Actually, it's a take on a Irish whiskey sour. Thankfully, I have this bar back here that I was able to get some things with. This is going to be done in a blender, so I'm not actually going to do it because I don't want to make a bunch of noise for y'all. But get a nice glass. I prefer these mugs like this. You're going to fill it, your blender, with ice. Fill this about halfway with ice, and then throw it in your blender. And then you're going to want to get an egg, a real egg, not that stuff in the milk cartons. You only want the egg white stuff, so you're gonna have to do that thing where you crack it and then do the thing back and forth to just put the whites in. You're gonna find out why you want that later. Then you're gonna put in your Irish whiskey. Today I'm using 2 gingers Irish whiskey since I'm half ginger and I want a little more ginger. Pour that in there and then add your half a lemon or even a quarter is fine, just depends on your tastes. You're gonna add some sugar in there too, just a little bit, maybe less than a tablespoon, and then you're gonna blend it. You're gonna blend it maybe a couple times. If you have that ice kind of blender for making margaritas, that's perfect. I run it twice so it gets extra, so the ice really gets chopped up. And then you're gonna have your drink. I'll pull it out here in a minute, but before you wanna add ginger beer is what I'm using. just to make it extra gingery, extra festive. You can use simple syrup if you want. There's other things you can use. I like ginger beer. Now, normally people think, wait, you're supposed to put the soda on after. But since this is a frothy drink and a little bit different, and I want it to mix in a certain way, I'm adding it first. So add about 2 ounces of that. And then when you pour it all in there, you're gonna get this drink. And you can see it's got that frothy top. That's because of the egg white. And there's only one last step after this, and that's to add your bitters. Now you can put little sprigs of mint. You can put some cinnamon sticks in there. You can put a cherry in there if you want. I like it just like this. It's sweet, it's sour, it's spicy, it's frothy, but most importantly, it's Irish. It's latte.
I love it. Now, you don't have to worry about that egg white.
Absolutely not. No one's ever died from a whiskey sour.
All right. Yes. All right. You ready for me?
Yes.
I am making the luck of the Irish. Okay. So you guys saw on Facebook, if you're on our Facebook group, all the KHM agents, we've got Jameson Irish whiskey. We've got peach schnapps, pineapple juice, and lemon lime soda, Sprite, and a little bit of mint. So, ooh, sit tight. I forgot my ice. Just sit tight, everyone.
I'll show you my drink close up while we're waiting. You can see it's got that nice frothy top on there.
Fridge close by. There we go. Okay. Up, and I see Laura on. We're going to have a nice cocktail. She's probably so stressed out. Okay. So we're going with about 3 ounces of Jameson. Okay. And that is, I'm going to half this because there's no way I'm going to drink all that. All right. Well, that's a little bit more than. Okay. So our Jameson goes in the glass. Have some peach schnapps goes in. We've got 2 ounces of peach schnapps. So I'm just going to half that. And then we have 3 ounces of pineapple juice. And I love, Matt, do you remember these little cans? Did you ever drink the little cans when you were younger?
I did.
I love them. So we're going to do pineapple juice and then a little Sprite. And then we throw in our, there we go. Okay, so this is what we look like, and it smells really good because of the pineapple juice. Then we throw in a little bit of green food coloring, because you gotta. There we go. And then we shake it. And I'm afraid to shake this because it's probably gonna go everywhere, but there we go. Yep, and it is going everywhere. And then we're gonna pour over our ice. And you can top this with a little fresh mint and some cherries if you want. I don't like cherries, so I'm not gonna do that. But there you go. Cheers.
Nice. Cheers. Carolyn, did you hear about the law that the Senate just passed?
No.
It's about it's very relevant. It's about getting rid of doing the changes, the spring forward and the fall back. They just passed it. It still has to go to Congress and all that stuff, but the Senate just passed it.
You guys, wasn't that funny? It sounded like the lead into a joke. I was like, oh, time for a joke. All right. We have a couple questions, Matt, before we let you go. And we actually haven't done Matt's compass. So if you can stick around,
that's right.
We'll get back to Matt's compass. But Michelle, we'll see if we can find out those dates for you on the next year's river cruise. Brenda, we're in. And could you share the name of the Central Market again in Budapest?
That's what it's called. It's just called the Central Market Hall.
Perfect. Perfect. All right, Matt, drink some of your drink. We'll see you
All
back
right.
in just a few minutes for some great cities to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But please welcome now, live from Dublin, Laura Coade. Hi, Laura.
Hi, how are you?
Gloria, you must be so stressed out. Someone's tracking you down, and we have this weird time change thing.
Yes. I didn't know about the time. I got that a little bit off, but I'm here and I'm
No,
sorry.
no, please, no apologies. It didn't even dawn on me that that would be like something that does, like, I think I knew it didn't happen worldwide, but it never dawned on me to share with you that that was going into effect. So thank you so much. And it's
No problem.
evening there, so we're so happy that you're with us live from Dublin. You are the scheduled tours manager for CIE Tours. And you guys, I haven't even been switching my PowerPoint this whole time. That's okay. Let's talk about St. Patrick's Day. We have this vision that St. Patrick's Day in Ireland is leprechauns and green and food and beer and just joy, joy, joy. Is that really what it's like?
Yes, and more. St. Patrick's Day here is, it's like, how would I describe it? If you take the Super Bowl in America and imagine every single state is in the final, that's what St. Patrick's Day is like here. Like for years, I took my kids, now they're grown up, we always went into the parade every year without fail. But every year they've made a big effort and it's got better, it's got bigger, it's got brighter. It's a whole day of celebration. The pubs at night, even in the local villages, have music. Every village has their own parade. So it's really a celebration of being Irish. And whoever's here with us, we want to celebrate that with them. And it's a wonderful time.
You mentioned to me when we spoke a couple of days ago that there's actually a charity component to it as well, that there are different walks and races and things like that that people can do to raise money for different charities.
Yeah, what happens is, like, my kids don't go to the parade now, so what we do is we take part in a charity walk, and it's called Harbour to Harbour. So you walk from the likes of Dunleary on the coast of Dublin to Howth, which is on the north coast of Dublin. It's about 25 kilometers, and it's a day out that everybody walks that. You wear green, everybody says hello to each other, you congregate together at the beginning, and everybody disperses into different restaurants and everything at the end of it. So it's kind of like a community feel that we're giving back something on St. Patrick's Day as well. So there's so much to do. There's even there's like a college rugby final on that day, which is huge. So everything seems to accumulate on that one day. And we also have, of course, which we're very proud of, the amount of buildings around the world that go green.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Sydney Opera House, we have the Empire State Building, and every year that's growing and growing, that more countries all over the world want to take part on St. Patrick's Day.
It's
so
such
it's a wonderful
holiday.
Day.
It really is. I know, I think I shared with you that in my house we hide money and the leprechaun comes and it's the bane of everyone's existence that isn't in my house because my children go to school and share that a leprechaun comes to my house, yet I'm the only house out of 30 that gets a leprechaun. So everyone has their own traditions. You have worked for CIE Tours, the largest Ireland tour operator, for 33 years. And I first of all, this is a norm for someone to work for this company for a very long time.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges that you've seen over the years, or even right now? What are some of those challenges that you're seeing in our industry?
I suppose this industry has got to be, anything that's volatile that happens in the world, it does affect the travel industry, even in a small way or a big way. And I suppose over the last 30 years, we've had so many things that have damaged the travel industry, that have caused complete upset. You know, even the last one, remember the Icelandic ash.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think what's been wonderful about this industry, which everybody in it will know, is each time it grows back and it grows bigger and it gets better. And so within about 3 years, you've had a bumper year and everybody says, oh my God, we'll never get better than that. So it's like a phoenix that has an absolute way of reinventing itself and coming back. And that's a wonderful thing. I suppose at the moment, the challenge has been for everybody within the travel industry with COVID, and we'll never mention it again, but it's keeping up with what restrictions are there to go into a country now, what's there next week. It's been ever changing, but thankfully, as quickly as it happened with those restrictions, they seem to be as quickly going. because in Ireland, we got rid of everything on the 28th of February for entry into the country. So you don't need, it's back to 2019. The only bear bug that's still there at the moment is going back to the USA, that there is the testing still required. So that's logistically a challenge, but we have a wonderful medical company that does that for us. And the testing has to be done within 24 hours. They do it at a reasonable rate and they're so efficient. But that's the only thing, that's the challenge we have, and that we need that to go. So to me, that'd be a wonderful thing if that was gone. So that's one of the challenges. I suppose the other challenges as well is people have changed and evolved. So how people came on holiday, you dealt with them 20 years ago is different now. There's a different expectation. So we have to change and evolve with that. So that's another challenge. I suppose could I give you one or two of the lovely stories we have on tour?
Please.
Okay. Now, these are true. They're not blarney. They're absolutely God's truth. There was one of the tours, one of our guys, Alistair, he was on, and there was this young girl, and she said her dream was that she loved the movie P.S. I Love You. And in one scene, Hilary Swank is in a field with sheep, and she runs through the sheep. So she said that was her on her bucket list, that she'd always loved to do it. So they were staying in the Celtic Ross Hotel down in Rosscarbery in West Cork. And he got talking to the barman, and he said there was a farmer that had a field next door with sheep. So he arranged with the farmer. Next day, they're coming past on the coach, and Alistair stops and says, okay, would you like to come out? And they all came out. So the farmer gave her some feed, said, put it in your hand. So go on now, pet, run down through that field. And all the sheep ran down. So our guides are wonderful like that, and they help us so much to cope with any challenge, that they bring humor and warmth to every day for the tourists. And that's an amazing thing that they do. The other things we love doing as well, which we get a lot of, is proposals. So what will happen is the person who's going to propose will contact their contact centre. They'll say where they want to do it. Usually it's the Cliffs of Moher. We have to tell the tour director. So the tour director has to keep it under wraps for maybe 6-7 days. But he has to be prepared on the day. He's got to have his phone ready, but not be conspicuous. He's got to wait for the moment and then capture the moment, and then have the Prosecco in the boot of the coach. So we love those. One we had recently was the Giant's Causeway. And I have to say, the backdrop there, the photograph was more spectacular than the Cliffs of Moher. It was absolutely, yeah, it was lovely. But they're the things we love, that sort of thing, that it makes everything worthwhile. And I suppose, as I've said to you before, not kind of advertising for CIE Tours, but we don't sell optionals. Everything is included. So it gives our guides that time to get to know you, what makes you tick and what you like.
Right.
So they have that time, and that's why people come back with such heartwarming stories, that they want to come back because of that.
Well, and if we didn't love personalized service before COVID, we absolutely crave it now. We want it. It's something that we absolutely need in our travels. So it's nice to know that what was with CIE is still a part of that brand.
Yes.
I want to go back to what you said about the challenges and Ireland dropping their protocols. You know, we spoke the other day about this. It almost happened overnight. You were surprised by it. The next day, we heard Budapest did the same thing. Today, I'm reading UK has dropped a lot of its COVID measures, especially for those that are vaccinated. And, you know, you made an interesting point that, you know, that it might not be so much about COVID, but about the war going on in Ukraine and needing to be able to welcome refugees without needing, oh, well, where's your internet? So you can fill out our health form. And, oh, did you get your 36-euro COVID test to enter our country? These are things that just can't happen right now to be able to welcome those people into countries in Europe. It's just, we can't do it. So even with rising numbers of cases, we have to drop some of those restrictions to warrant for that. For that.
That's very important. Yeah, very important, because we did it on the 28th of February. And it was really in realization what was coming, because we said these people won't be able to fill in a passenger locator form, get a COVID rapid antigen test. We needed to make everything as simplistic as possible. And you couldn't just say it was just for one section. It had to be for everybody. So wherever they were coming in from, you know, and it's been wonderful that we've done that. And but that's typical of Ireland, I think, that because we've been a country that's emigrated so much, especially to America, we understand that. So we're there ready to welcome people when they come here. because they've done it and still do it for us, you know.
There is something about the Irish people that is just so warm and genuine. It's the food, it's the music, the dance. It just all speaks of happiness. And I think just that green color coming from the lush landscape, there's something peaceful about it.
Oh, definitely. And I think any of the Irish that have gone abroad, they've brought an essence of that with them. And people do genuinely feel that. And they've done so well, Irish people, throughout the world, because they like to make friends. They like to get everybody to come together, cohesive. They're a joining force. And I think that has helped around the world, everywhere they've been. And there's been so many went to America and still do. And so many have gone to Australia and Europe. But America would be the main predominant that all Irish people want to go to, definitely.
So Laura, at the end of the day, if I ask you the simple question, why Ireland, what do you say?
Okay, as I said to you before, I think the difference in Ireland is you go to a lot of countries and you visit and you come back and you say, yes, that was great. But you come to Ireland and you experience it. And that's what Irish people want, that you will experience. You'll experience the people, you'll experience our language. And I think when I say our language, is not just speaking Irish, Gaelic, because some people still do, but it's also our language, that we all have a different way of saying things. We talk fast, we have our own slang, we understand each other, but people don't. And we just make people engage with us. It's our food. Our food used to be terrible, but our food is one of the best in the world now. We have the greatest ingredients, you know, the freshest ingredients. So that's one of the most wonderful things about here. And I think it's our scenery. It's just, and there's something about the sky in Ireland that I've always found, you know, I've lived here all my life, but if you go to the west of Ireland in the wintertime, there's colours in the sky when you take a picture that you won't get anywhere in the world. I don't know, there's just something magical. But I always say experience, and that's what you will get from Ireland.
Yeah. And do you ever see a leprechaun?
No, but you do believe in them, because I was only thinking that after you said it, and I've always been brought that my grandmother always said, when you're going down the country in Ireland and you see a field and you see a tree on its own in a field, in the middle of a field, there's a fairy fort underneath that. So I always firmly believe that when I see it.
Yes, I love believing in things like that. It brings me joy.
Me too. Definitely.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for joining us. You have off tomorrow to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy. We are so thankful that you were able to join us. Sorry for the confusion of the time.
No, that was my fault too.
You and CIE as our partners. So thank you so much.
Thanks a million. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Same to you. Cheers.
Bye.
Still drinking my drink, the luck of the Irish. All right, you guys, we're going to welcome Matt back one more time. He's been pinch hitting a lot today because he is going to share with us, for Matt's Compass, his favorite destinations in the U.S. to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And there are a few. So if you don't want to head over to Ireland, you can head over to one of these great cities. The first one we have a mutual love for. It is San Francisco.
Yeah, I think we both went to school there, right? You went to school there and lived there for a few years?
I did.
So, San Francisco, it is held in St. Patrick's Day parade for 171 years. It now draws about 100,000 people every year. It's home to many Irish bars and has a big Irish population historically. One of my favorites is, and Carolyn, tell me if you've been there, is Abbey Tavern. It's on around 5th and Geary Street. What I love about it was I'd been to Irish bars before, or at least bars with Irish names, but when I walked in this one, everybody who worked there was Irish, and at least half or more of the patrons there were Irish. Not Irish American, but Irish, with like born in Ireland and with Irish accents. So I just thought that was so cool. It's a very interesting bar. It is kind of a dive bar, but I think if you sent your clients there who love going bar hopping and stuff, they'd really enjoy it. So that's one of my picks. The other one is Chicago, and mainly I just picked this one because they dye the river green, and then they have all kinds of little river cruise things you can do up and down the river, different tours with that green dyed river. You can kayak in it. It's very interesting. Of course, they have the parades and all that stuff too. They have some great restaurants featuring traditional Irish dishes. such as corned beef and cabbage and all that good stuff. But when can you see a green river like that?
Matt, do you know what the green dye is made out of?
I don't. What is that?
It's made out of a vegetable powder. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not even toxic. Awesome.
No,
Even better.
no, not at all.
It's not
Not at
nuclear
all.
sludge or anything.
You guys, Matt sends this to me and I'm like, what does he mean? Chicago dyes the river green. And so I had to look this up, literally put in the Google search bar, Chicago dyes the river green. And all this came up. And sure enough, and it was something that they were not going to do in 2019. And I think they got so much pushback. And people really felt comfort in the river being dyed green for St. Patrick's Day that they did end up doing it. But it is made out of a vegetable powder. That's how they dye it.
It's such a unique thing to see, you know? So my final one is Boston. Boston has a huge Irish history. They have an Irish heritage trail that you can do. And then this one is for the music lovers. They have different concerts and live music being played at many different bars within the city. They have Celtic rock bands, including traditional music as well, dancing. So this is more of the party city. And if you like live music, my favorite that I've been to is called the Black Rose. So it reminds me of the live music I heard at bars in the Temple Bar district of Dublin. So definitely check out that bar when you're in Boston if you like live music on St. Patrick's Day. But even if not, they still do it. You know, they often have live music there year round.
I love it. Do you eat corned beef and cabbage?
I do.
Yeah,
I love
can't
it.
do it.
No?
I don't know. I try every year, and I don't cook it, but I'll try it if I'm out somewhere and yep, just not a fan. I don't
What
know
about pastrami or roast beef?
roast beef, yes, not pastrami. I don't
You
know.
know, it's really just a take on brisket. It's an Irish version of brisket or roast beef. Those are all kind of similar things, but it's the spices, I guess, that's getting you. Is it the cloves?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything. I don't, and I don't love cabbage either. So, you know, wet lettuce really doesn't do anything for me. Well, Matt, thank you for being here today, my friend. Safe travels to you. We can't wait for the report on Turkish Air Business Class.
Do I get co-host credits today?
Yes, absolutely. Robbie, put those on the slide real quick before I switch. This is the co-host today. Be safe. Get there. We can't wait to hear about the PCR test and how that goes. But have the most wonderful time, and we'll chat when you get back.
Thank you. It's been great being here. Bye, everyone.
All right, you guys, we're going to zip through these slides because Carolyn did not change them today so that you can see all our fantastic sponsors. We have just been truly blessed with the most amazing partners in this business. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I have to give it up. I think Joanne won the contest today. That was just really beautiful. And I'm going to give second place to Matt because, hey, any drink that you can throw a raw egg into and it still tastes good is good with me. So thank you all for being here. Next week, you guys, we come to you live from the Hyatt Ziva Riviera Cancun during spring break. We're hoping our connection is also good enough that Mr. Bill Coyle will join us from Cruise 360. And you guys, have you ever wondered how to give gifts to your clients while they're down in the Cancun Riviera Maya area? Well, we have Lisa joining us from VI Paraiso. You guys might have seen this all over Facebook, but she is doing an amazing job of delivering gifts to our clients while they are down there. Unique ideas for honeymooners, couples, families. So she's going to join us from the hotel as well. So I look forward to seeing you then. Everyone have a great night. Have a great St. Patrick's Day, and we'll see you next week from the beach. Good night, or good afternoon still.